Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to do the Spike book tag and I'm really excited to do it. I saw Mel from a book fiend named Mel do this a couple of days ago at the time of filming it, and I will link her version in the description. And I just thought it was so fun. Like, I wasn't tagged in it, but it just looked so fun and I really liked the questions, so I thought we'd give it a go. It was originally created, I've got my notes down here, by Cece's Reading Journey, and I will link their channel and the original video again in the description. And it's all about Spike from the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is a series I absolutely loved. And like I said, I think the prompts are fun, so I thought we'd give this a try. We're also, talking of giving it a try, trying out filming with my glasses on today, because I am actually quite blind without my glasses on, and so filming without them is quite difficult, and I've noticed recently I'm squinting slightly in videos, so we're going to try this out in the hope that there's not loads of glare like that. Okay, so don't tilt my head like that because that's annoying. Okay, let's get into these prompts. There are 11 of them, and we're gonna go through them. So question 1, I've got the questions up on my laptop up here. Lovable Villain, a book that let you understand the traditionally villainous character. So for this one I could really only choose Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. First of all, itchy nose. Second of all, I love this edition. This is a book that has some really ugly covers, and this edition, which I found in a charity shop a few years ago, I just think is really cool. Anyway, I've picked this one because it says understand the traditionally villainous character, and I think Frankenstein's creature is a kind of stereotype of a monster, but actually if you read the actual book you will understand that the creature is not actually a monster at all. So in case, I don't know, you've never heard of Frankenstein somehow, this is a classic written by Mary Shelley when she was about 18. She had a nightmare and then she got up and she wrote this book. We're following Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein, who is a scientist who decides to create a human from dead body parts, which he does, and he makes his creature, and it's about what happens. And yeah, I think Frankenstein's creature is so misunderstood and underrated, and if you haven't read this, I really recommend it. It's one of my favourite classics. It's really short. I think it's pretty easy to read, and yeah, would help you understand what the creature is actually about. So that was that one. Question 2, Monster, a book with an unapologetical evil character, unapologetically evil character, I think. So for that one I have gone for Stephen King's Misery. Now, I don't talk about Stephen King very often. I'm not a fan of his work. I've only ever enjoyed Misery and Carrie. I've read several others that I haven't gotten with, but this one has got the character, is it Annie? Yes, Annie Wilkes. So we've got Paul Sheldon, who is an author. He's in a car crash in the snow. He's rescued by this woman called Annie, who happens to be a nurse. She takes him home to care for him, and things go from there. And she is unapologetically evil, and the things that she does are extreme. So yeah, she was definitely my pick for this prompt. Question 3, Swagger, a book with snarky, sassy dialogue. So one of the originals, the OGs at writing snarky, sassy dialogue, was William Shakespeare, and I have gone for Much Ado About Nothing in this beautiful edition, because you have Beatrice and Benedict, who are one of the original enemies to lovers. There's so much sarcasm and wit and sassy, like snarky dialogue back and forth between the two of them in this play, so I had to pick it. Sorry to be a total English teacher about it, but if you want snarky, sassy dialogue, William Shakespeare is your man, especially in Much Ado About Nothing. Question 4, Pet, a book with a strong passionate love story. Bonus if it's not cheesy. So I have gone for Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nagan, and I'm not going to say who the love story is between because it's a spoiler, but I loved the love story in this so much that I'm too scared to read the second book. I think it's a duology. I'm too scared to read the next book in case something happens to them. So yeah, that's the thing. This is a fantasy book in which there are 3 classes of people. You've got full demons at the top, you've got half demon, half human in the middle, and then you've got humans at the bottom who are known as paper because they're so delicate. And every single year, the king takes 8 beautiful girls to be part of his to serve the king, is what they say. And then this year a 9th girl is chosen because she has these incredible, like, tiger like eyes, And we're following her going into the palace and exploring this world, and there is a love story, and like I said, I'm not going to say who it is, but I absolutely adored it, and I'm too scared to read the second book in case something happens to one or both of them, because it's a really brutal world. But yeah, it was definitely that one for me. Question 5, A Fool for Love, a book that made you cry or feel pain. Okay, so this is a book that is very Marmite here on the Bookternet, but it's a book I have read probably a dozen times, and every single time it makes me sob my eyes out, and that is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. And I've never read another one of her books because I loved this one so much. I was too scared to pick up anything else, and it's a book I reread last year, and there are some things in it that reading it through the lens of 2020 was problematic, so I can see why some people don't love it. But the ending of this book, the love story between Henry and Claire, gets me every time, and like I said, the ending makes me absolutely bawl, like full on, like can't breathe, sobbing every single time. So it had to be this book. Question 6, The Yoko Factor, a book with a manipulative character. So I was looking at my shelves and I was like, manipulative characters, and then I saw this and I was like, yes, she is the ultimate manipulative character, and that is Emma by Jane Austen. And our, protagonist from the title, Emma, our eponymous hero, she is incredibly manipulative, and actually this whole book is about her manipulating the people around her and trying to control what's going on. And I think it's one of the reasons why Emma usually comes quite low down in people's rankings of Jane Austen books, because she's not particularly likeable. She's not supposed to be likeable, and it's also my favourite. I don't know what that says about me. This is my favourite Jane Austen book, but for a manipulative main character, definitely Emma by Jane Austen. Question 7, The Big Bad is Back, a book, those books have just fallen over, a book with a truly morally grey character. If you want a book that is full of morally grey characters, you should definitely read Middle Game by Shauna Maguire. I read this last year and absolutely loved it, and even just picking it up now is making me want to reread it, even though it's like a 600-page biffa. 550-page biffa is still massive, but this cover, and once you know what this is about, it's even creepier. This is full of morally grey characters, and I'm really not going to tell you very much because it's best to just go in blind. But we are following Roger and Dodger, who are a pair of twins who are separated at birth, and when they're about 6 or 7, they realise that they can communicate with each other telekinetically, like just in their brains. And it's about what happens, and you find out like how they were created, why they were created, and you follow their lives. And there are so many morally grey characters in this, I had to choose it for this prompt. Number 8 is Everyone's Stoned Here, a book with a great anti-hero or snarky main character. So for a total tone change from this, we're then going into Agatha Christie with Cats. And I've chosen Hetty, who is the protagonist in the number 2 Feline Detective Agency series by Mandy Morton. I've read this one, and I've read this one. My shelves don't usually like this, I had to pull out books for this tag, which is book 8. And we're in a world where everyone is cats, and Hetty decides to set up a detective agency, and we're following the mysteries. And Hetty she isn't an anti-hero, but she's definitely snarky main character. She's quite selfish. She is usually out for her own comfort and gain, but she's also trying to solve these mysteries, so I had to go with her. And yeah, she can be very, very sarcastic. Number 9, Empath, a book that changed your perspective or made you more observant. So for this one, is that the one I want for this one? Yes. I have gone for Becoming by Michelle Obama, which is a book that I read in 2018. And before I read this book, I didn't know anything about American politics, how it works, what it would be like to live in the White House. To be honest, I'd never really cared that much before, but Michelle Obama is someone who I just respect so much, and when I saw that she released her autobiography, I just wanted to read it immediately. I think she's an incredible human, and I'm so glad I read this book. It is big, and it took me quite a while, but it was so worth it, and it gave me this insight into American politics, how it works, what it's like to be in the White House, what her life was like, what her kids' life has been like, and yeah, it definitely kind of gave me a different perspective on American politics. So yeah, definitely Becoming by Michelle Obama. Question 10, Life is Just This, It's Living, a book that helps you grow. There are loads that I could have chosen, but actually I was looking through my shelves and I've gone for The Prison Doctor by Dr. Amanda Brown. And this is non-fiction, and it's Amanda's story of her going from being a GP in a little village practice to working in the prison system. And I've picked this one for the prompt Helped You Grow because before I read it, I did have some preconceptions on what the people in prison would be like, and I came away with a very different view. So it was definitely really interesting. If you're interested in that kind of thing, I'd really recommend this. Please check content warnings first because there are a lot of them for this book. It's very graphic. She doesn't shy away from any of the topics that she's looking at, but yeah, this definitely changed my perspective on prisons and the people that are in them. And then finally, bonus, William the Bloody, what would Spike read? This was so fun. And I was having a look at my shelves and I was like, I really think Spike would love Grady Hendrix. I think this would be his kind of era. He likes stuff that's bloody and violent and dark. And I mean, an obvious choice would have been the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, but I feel like Spike might think that the vampire element in that, I don't know that he'd like the way it was done. So I've gone for My Best Friend's Exorcism instead, just because whether he likes it or not, Spike enjoys friendships. This has got such a strong friendship in it. It's also got some really gory bodily horror in it, and it's my favourite of the Grendix? Who the hell is Grendix? Grady Hendrix books. And yeah, I just think that Spike would get a real kick out of this. So that was the Spike book tag. It was really, really fun. Thank you to Cece's Corner for creating it, and thank you to Mel for posting it so that I saw it. I'm going to tag a few people who I think would have really good answers for this. I'm going to go with Amy Myers from the channel Amy Myers, Hilary from Melted Books, and Ash from For the Lover Books. Everyone I've mentioned will be linked in the description. If you've made it this far, please leave me the vampire emoji as we were talking about Spike. Please subscribe if you like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks guys. Bye.